Hey guys, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we're gonna play with some new makeup that I picked up from the Sephora VIB sale. I also try out one of the new Pat McGrath palettes that I picked up as well from the Pat McGrath sale. Based on your votes, there's definitely one palette that you were really excited about before the rest of them. This is the look that I came up with today, so if you can kind of see based on my eyes, maybe you'll know which palette that is. I do want to start with brows, and as you guys know from my VIB sale haul, I did haul the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows, kind of like the Charlotte version of the Gimme Brow by Benefit. It's supposed to tint up the brow a little bit and add some gel as well to keep some hairs in place. It's funny because when I hauled this, I showed you guys that my wand is a little bit bent. So you guys can see that there, that it is a bent wand, and a couple of you guys said, actually it's not supposed to be bent. Which made me laugh because I'm like, what? What happened to mine then? I think I picked up light brown for this one. I don't know, it's probably going to be a little bit too light for my brows, but seems to be meshing okay. It doesn't like stand out. Yeah, it's not too bad, I guess. I can definitely pull it off. Maybe it's gonna add some dimension to my brow a little bit, and what I like to do is just run through my brow hairs. It's pretty easy, kind of looking at how it looks. That's not too bad. So far so good. I do really like the small spoolie that it comes with. I think that makes everything nice and easy to apply. Next, I want to prep the lid with my OG. This is the Holy Grail Smashbox 24-hour eye primer. I'm going to put a little bit on each lid, and this is a really nice one because it does offer that moisturizing aspect, so it kind of smooths over if you have any dryness, and then setting so beautifully, so it almost like fills in. If you have any lines and stuff, it seems to fill them in. It seems to glide just perfectly on the lid. You don't have to set this one if you don't want, but I like to just use a clean hand and just gently massage it into the lid. While we're waiting for the eye primer to set, the palette you wanted me to try in this video is Midnight Sun, and that is awesome because I'm really drawn to that purple shade. For myself, when I wear color, I wear it really nice and kind of minimal. I don't wear a ton of color all the time, so when I do incorporate color into my eye looks, I keep it more of a subtleness, not super loud or super bold. So I think where I'm gonna start is this shimmer shade up here in the top left corner. I'm gonna put that all over the lid, and like I said, I'm gonna make a pretty simple look with this one. These Pat McGrath palettes are fantastic, don't get me wrong. Like some of these Mothership palettes I think are absolutely stunning, but for girls like me, I don't typically wear a ton of bold color. So I also want to see how versatile these palettes are for those of us that just want to have a little bit, and also creating looks that to me are very easy to emulate if you are following along at home and you want to try something that is still beautiful but still easy to achieve. I don't know if anybody else's skin does this, but like literally one scratch and now I have like scratch marks on my neck. Anyway, that was me going like this, so not to worry. This shade is quite shimmery, a lot more shimmery than I was expecting, which is kind of a nice surprise. There's quite a few shimmers in this palette. There's only 3 mattes, and it also seems to be quite a fall looking palette. Like there's some really nice browns, a nice deep green. So I do feel like this is gonna be a perfect fall palette as well. Next, I do want to incorporate the purple, and I'm gonna do it on the outer part of the eye, just something very minimal, very easy. I'm gonna use the Wing Goss number 19 for this because it is quite small. It's really good for detailed work as well, so you don't have to be too intimidated when you place deeper shades or color on your eye. This is actually a lot lighter as well upon first application here. Like it's there, but I know I have to build it up to really look like purpley. There's quite a bit of a sheeniness and a shimmer to this one. So that's also something that was a really nice surprise. So this is 2 layers right now. You can see the look is starting to come together, and it also has much more of a bluiness to it than I thought. So it's a really interesting Blitz Astral in this palette. So I really like that. I'm gonna add a little bit more just to deepen it slightly. As you guys can see with my hooded lids, there's quite a few techniques I do use when I'm applying shadow. The first one is trying to not raise my eyebrow. As soon as I raise my eyebrow like this, for me, when I'm at rest, like my lids kind of settle in and fold, right? So then the color kind of is hidden. You also don't know how it's going to look. So what I try to do is try to keep my lids relaxed as well. Adding just that little bit here, you can see this is perfectly relaxed. This is a little bit elevated, so I just dab a little bit in there. Especially if you have hooded lids, make sure that you really are like putting your eyes at rest. This is going to be how your final look is going to be perceived to the public, to friends and family when you're walking around, right? So you're not going to stay eyebrows raised like this for your entire day. So make sure that you're happy with how the look settles when your eyes are perfectly relaxed, if that makes sense. Another tip I have is that when you dip your brush right into a pan, try to focus more so along the lash line or in the center of the lid. Do not do any blending at the top with so much pigment on your brush. That's also something that I've kind of learned, whether it be for hooded eyes or not. Like you can see what I'm doing here. I'm starting right at the base, blending upward. This is, for me, just the best way to wear shadow. You can tell also when the look is not quite done that it looks maybe a little weird right now. But that's just how it is. Just be patient, trust the process. Next, I'm gonna go in with this Blitz Astral shade on the far right-hand side here. This is going to be, I'm pretty sure anyways, if I'm assuming correctly, it's going to be very thin and incredibly shimmer heavy. So I'm gonna use a clean finger for this one as well. And right off the bat, as I can feel it in the pan, I know exactly what type of formulation this is. It is her special, very thin, I don't know, gel-like consistency. And you can see here that there's going to be a little bit of fallout, but what I'm doing is I'm putting it over top of the first shade there and blending into the center. I'm also taking the gold, just lightly tapping my middle finger with this one and putting it a little bit on the center here, just to add a little bit more dimension to the look. So honestly, guys, this is kind of where I would just stop. There's quite a few different shades in here, like the green, the orange, and whatever, but you don't have to apply every single shade when you're using a palette, right? So like I said, this is how I would kind of wear color, something a little bit fun, shimmery, a purple presence there, but nothing too loud. I don't know why, but when I do eyeliner on camera, for some reason, I don't know if it's just like my arm placement, but I can't seem to like do it so effortlessly perfect like this where it looks great being seen. For some reason I have to like go like this and like, I don't know, it's really weird. When I do liner, I just do a light flick at the end. It's nothing crazy, not like a huge wing or anything. We don't want the lids to fly away, just a little bit of a flare. Shall I try this torture mechanism? Now, you guys know that I don't know how to do this, so bear with me. This will be the first time I'm going to attempt to curl my lashes. If you have an eye phobia like me, I would fast forward through this because this is why it's scary for me to do. I just worry about anything touching my lids. Let's see how it goes. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't think it did anything. I don't think it did anything. I don't know, guys. I'm not noticing too much yet. I think I just have to kind of get comfortable with this in my hand. I don't think I'm getting close enough to the lid. Like, I'm really nervous. Let's just keep it there for now. I think that was a good start. Next, I'm going to go in with the Lancome Idole mascara. This is also something I don't know how to look, like how it looks pretty on film. Like, if you're actually doing this, you're either going like this or going like that, right? I have never looked elegant applying mascara or liner on camera. I don't understand and I don't know why, but that's just how it is. The look is coming together. It looks like kind of beautiful, shimmery spring vibes. Next, I'm going to use my concealer. This is the Pat McGrath. There we go. Sublime conditioner. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Sublime concealer. Sorry, guys. Wow. This is L5. This is one of my favorites because I can use it for both acne, like acne covering, as well as darkening under the eyes. So I'm going to do that next. I think not a lot of people do this next, where they apply their concealer before their foundation. I usually see foundation first, but I'm going to do this first actually. So you can see I don't go like all the way around or anything. I just kind of keep it here and then I use my Beautyblender to blend out. I'm very fortunate to not have a ton of dark circles under my eye, but I do feel like right in here is primarily where I can get some darkness. To set, I'm using my Dior Powder. This is one of my absolute favorites right now. I'm actually going to use a really fluffy eyeshadow brush for this because of how targeted the work is. So I'm going to go in with a Goss number 16 with this one. You can also do like a smaller brush if you want, but I don't know, I just like to go in with an eyeshadow brush, especially around this part of the face, because I can still set everything beautifully and I don't have to worry about the brush being too big. That's another thing, is you don't want to put like powder in your eyeballs as much as possible. So another trick I have is setting with a more fluffy brush right there. Next, I'm going to prime the skin. I'm actually pulling out a favorite that I kind of sort of forgot about. It was right in the back of my primers. This is the Vitamin Enriched Face Base from Bobbi Brown, and it does provide some nice hydration. It provides a really nice, like, slight glow to the skin. So I'm just going to put it on my cheeks. I'm going to put it on the forehead. Nothing crazy, just to start off. This used to be sold out forever. I don't know if it's still in stock or not. I think it's finally back, but I hate when some get under my nail. That's so gross. But that's why our hands are clean during this part. I do have some spots on the chin that I will cover up next. I'm gonna go in with the exact same concealer from Pat McGrath, and just apply lightly. These are actually acne pigmentation or hyperpigmentation from acne. This is not active acne, but it takes some time for those to kind of lighten up on the skin. So covering it up for right now is something that I do. See, look how it covers that up. It's so beautiful, medium full, I would say. You know, like it can get full coverage pretty quick, but it still feels like a medium coverage product where it's not super heavy feeling. So this is like a rock star concealer in my books. Next, I'm going to use the LYS Love Yourself foundation. This is also one that I know you guys wanted me to put to the test. Even though I've really liked it, I wanted to also demo this one for you. So this is the Triple Fix Serum Foundation. It has been sold out in and out at Sephora. I use MN1. This is basically the equivalent of Light Neutral 1. Now, I like to just either, you can pump it directly onto the sponge or onto the back of your hand, pick it up, and apply. And I start with my cheeks because I do have some visible redness there. You'll notice one particular thing as I'm applying my foundation, and that is that I do not do my head or my forehead. My head. I am a different person today, guys. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I don't do my forehead until the very end, and there's a reason. I find when I put on my foundation, I am very expressive still, like lifting my eyebrows up and things like that. If I put the foundation on there first, I find that it is a lot more prone to gather into the wrinkles that result when I am working with the rest of the face. So I do that last. I also haven't seen a ton of people do that as well. I think it's a really good tip, especially if you want to minimize the wrinkles on your face, like being accentuated with your base product. You're still moving your eyebrows up and down and causing those creases to develop while it's still wet. This is a lovely one, you guys. I really love the slight glow to this one. And the Bobbi Brown base does a good job too. It's not super glowy or anything. It just has that like your skin but better kind of look. And as you can see, I'm just gently placing a little bit more foundation over top of where I did some concealing, nothing crazy. Now it's time for the forehead. We're now done everything else. I'm not doing full pumps every time. I'm actually just doing like little spritzes here and there. So I would say a full face for me, given that I have to put a little bit extra around redness on my cheeks and or redness down here. I would say maybe 1.5 full pumps, maybe 2 full pumps total. But otherwise, you don't need a ton, and this is a beautiful, I would say, medium coverage. Buildable to full for sure, but you do need a couple of layers for that. Next is time to set the entire face. This is also something I don't have new from the sale, which is the Dior Backstage Powder, No Powder. Very interesting name for this, but essentially it is a lightly matte setting powder. Can look very beautiful on the skin, nicely fine milled as well. I'm using my Sigma brush for this. This is an OG brush I've had in my collection for quite some time. It's definitely lasts the test of time for sure. But you can see, can you hear that? There you go. It's definitely starting to fall apart. So I've had this brush now for at least 5 years and used it daily basically, or almost daily. Only now is it starting to break apart. So I would say like Sigma is still, I mean, people used to push it a ton, but I still think Sigma has some really good quality brushes and they don't get as much hype as they used to. So I still like this brush. I mean, I like it so much that once it does go kaput, I'll probably buy another one. That is all set. The next thing we're going to do is actually we're going to use the Dior bronzer that I picked up. Now this is the same product but in a darker shade. So my setting powder is 2N, this is 4N. So I've actually done 2 shades up, and I'm hoping that this is going to be something really like natural looking. So here's to hoping. I was actually initially going to go a bit deeper, but this is probably perfect. Brush I'm using for this is the Marc Jacobs The Bronze. I've seen this on and off at Sephora, so I'm hoping that it's still there right now, but if not, I think it's at Marc Jacobs, but this one comes in and out of stock all the time. It's definitely good for a more diffused bronze look. If you're wanting to really target, obviously this like bristle head is huge, right? So if you're wanting something much more sculpted, much more contour-like, this isn't for you. You'll have to get something a little smaller, but I personally like the diffused bronze look. I like something softer and something a little bit more natural, not too chiseled, so this is a perfect one for me. What I like to do is place on the top there of the cheekbone and push upward into the forehead, just a little bit. A beautiful bronze look, nothing too crazy, nothing too loud. It's just very natural. I love it. I think that my subscriber, Katie, that suggested I do this, I feel indebted to you. I think that's amazing. I love the look. We do have 2 blushes to test out. I actually picked up 3 total. I'm going to be talking about the Say blush in a different video, but these are the 2 that you guys really wanted to see in action. The first one is the Dior Backstage Glowy Blush. The second one is the Hermes, and this is one that is hefty priced, you guys. I'm going to put one on each cheek to start, and I want you guys to tell me which one you like best. So the first one I'm going to put on is the Dior. This looks incredibly vibrant in pan. You can see it almost looks like a highlighter pink, right? But apparently it's not going to translate like that. Here's to hoping. I'm going to go very light-handed to start. The tiniest tap, and I have so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's tap off a little bit. It's actually really pretty. It's definitely brighter, that's for sure. Maybe I already put too much as well. You never know. I wish I had done a little bit of a lighter tap, but I really did more of like a medium. So lightly tap. This will be beautiful, but I do love it. I think it's really nice and springy, that's for sure. This is a new blush brush, another clean one. I'm gonna go in with the other cheek with the Hermes. This is the Rose Blush, the second chapter of the Hermes makeup line, and the shade I picked up is number 23 Rose Blush. There's a bit of kick up in the pan. I've noticed that right away. I'm gonna tap a little bit off as well because I did get quite a bit on the brush. And what it's doing is it's actually fairly lightweight. Like you can see here, I did the tiniest tap. Can you guys see how much powder is right there? I'm gonna zoom you in. There's quite a bit of a powdery mess there at the top, and it's all over the pan now. Very interesting how this one just tends to have kick up right away. This one compared to the Dior as well, I'm actually using the exact same style of blush brush for this. I have 2 of them. This is a Sephora collection. So they're both the exact same density, the exact same size. And this is one to me that isn't quite, like it's still blending into the skin, but it's not blending as easily into the skin as the Dior one. So I would say that I am really, really good with my one shade of this. It's eventually blending as I'm working it through. You guys can see that. It is a little bit more peachy than the other side, which is a little bit more of a brighter pink. But I find I have to like blend it in a little bit more than the Dior. Also gonna see, because since they're both very high-end fashion houses, this one actually doesn't have much of a scent at all, the Dior one. And this one has quite a floral, a little bit fruity as well. So I do think that these are really beautiful, but I do think that they are quite expensive for what they are as well. If you are really wanting to own something from Hermes, like, you know, because you appreciate the fashion house, you love its history. If you're like me, you're just kind of, you know, nerding out on stuff like that, and you really want to just own one of them, I do think that this is still a nice piece. But I don't think that this is one where I would feel tempted to get every single shade because I love it so much. And I actually am more impressed with the Dior one, which I know is cheaper. I also don't have a new highlight, but I do want to pay homage to Becca, who is closing very soon. So I'm going to pull up the Champagne Pop one. You can tell that it's broken. So I'm going to be very careful applying this one. And I'm just going to apply it on the top of the cheeks there. Inevitably, I do kind of hit the top edge of the blush, but I do this on purpose so it looks a little bit more diffused. It's not too stripy. I'm also gonna add a little bit of highlight on the eyebrow arch, nothing too crazy. Whoop, that's crazy. I have to blend that one out a little bit more. Also going to set with the new Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in her new White Tea of Bali scent. It does look really beautiful on the skin though, performs just like the original with that really nice glow, and it just sets everything beautifully. I'm going to go in with the Gucci lipstick. This is a very beautiful balm-like creamy lipstick, and I'm going to go in with the shade My Cousin Rachel. All right, guys, what do you think? This is the finished look. So many new beautiful pieces of makeup that I think worked really well today. So let me know your thoughts down below. What is your favorite product that I put on today? What was your favorite product that you picked up from the sale? And until my next one, guys, take care and stay safe. Bye, guys.